all new. AM 1150 WTMP.com.
Turn it down a little bit. Okay, and like clockwork, we're at it again. Alrighty. This is Porch Talk Radio. Your host Eddie Adams, co-host Gabriel Phillips here. You know, we making stuff happening, and I got to say something. You know, to start this show off, we don't have a guest today, and it's the reason we don't have a guest today because we kind of have had guests, you know, over the last month and a half, and I have couple of topics I usually like to try to get out every week, you know, at the guest and then a topic or either two topics or you know, however we want to do it, to expand the knowledge, you know, of the community, move everything forward, make everybody work together, you know, bring you something you don't already know or something you may not have already considered. Okay, but in that process, this morning, today, I've actually, you know, been listening to some of the other shows. I usually don't listen to a lot of the other shows on Saturday because, you know, Saturday's the day I usually try to get some other stuff done, and I have to come in and do this show, and I usually do my agenda, you know, for this show Thursday night or Friday night. I usually try to do the agenda, and I found out lately that whatever agenda I pick on Thursday or Friday, some of these other guys on Saturday morning pick, if not the same, a similar agenda. So that means you know, there is some kind of, you know, global phenomenon that's happening that's sending out wavelengths and signals, and that's a good thing because no matter what topic it is, their conversation about it is going to be different than our conversation about it, which is the good part, you know. So I don't mind, you know. What I'm trying to do is make sure you guys understand that I don't listen to all these other shows and then come in here Saturday afternoon at 1 o'clock and then try to
extend their show
to correct make my comments based upon what they have already been saying. A lot of times I don't hear what they're already saying. I don't hear the cat fights. I don't hear, you know, the disgruntled, you know, conversations of folks having, you know, before I get here. Every now and then I may hear, like today, I actually heard a couple of shows today, and I'm gonna say this, you know, again, some of the shows are unlistenable. You know, that's my problem. You know, I can't spend an hour listening to some of the shows because of the nature of the conversation. I'm just saying, you know, be it good or bad, I'm just telling you about me, Eddie Adams Jr. You know, I can't listen to some of these shows, not for an hour. You know, every now and then there's a good debate on. Every now and then some people call in some good information. You know, the community is all involved, you know, and it makes for good radio. What we try to do, we try to create good radio. That's the process. Everybody who can pay for a show don't produce good radio. So I'm telling you that. Now, you know, coming into the studio today, Al Lee was still here, and we had a conversation. And anybody who's been listening to this show anytime in the last 10 years know, you know, I constantly say, you know, black folks, you know, I don't have a problem saying black and white. You know, we're not politically correct. That's not what we're trying to do here. You know, what I'm trying to tell you and what I've always said is we are our own worst enemy. We do each other worse than anybody. If there was 1,000 black folks, if there's 1,000 white folks standing in front of us, and there's 2 black folks standing here and they give us a gun with 1 bullet, you know what's gonna happen?
Come on, Eddie, don't go there. You sure about this?
He gonna turn to the side and shoot that 1 black person with him. You see what I'm saying? You know, 1,000 white folks out there. We are our own worst enemy, and it's no bigger, better way than I can say that. You know, than all you gotta do is just listen. Sometimes listen to what we do to each other. And my conversation, you know, my first conversation is gonna be, you know, do Black Lives Matter. You know, because that's what we're going to talk about.
By the media, some.
Yeah, I'm getting the show open. I'm gonna get started.
Oh,
you know, but it kind of had to get that off my chest, and also let me get this off my chest. You know, so we go ahead and start the show. I, Eddie Adams Jr., am a politico. I'm a politico. I have run for elections myself. I have run for elections at the local level. I have run for elections at the national level. I have participated. I have helped. I have been campaign manager, campaign consultant. I know and am involved with politics when there's not an election season approaching.
That's true.
Unlike some of you guys, the black community has been pimped
Eddie, come on now.
by folks trying to get elected for the last 100, 200 years. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
There's a process. And every election cycle, you people fall for the same okey doke. I'm sorry to say it, but you do. They show up at the porches, they show up at the barbecues, they show up at your events in your community. And for 2.5 years, or for a year and a half, you don't see them. 6 months before it's time to get elected,
That's true.
they all show up. Literally show up.
Magic.
Can I come? Can I come? Can I come? You don't see a one. And I'm talking about the black ones and the white ones.
Yeah.
They don't show up asking you for diddly squad, no nana. They're worse than the pimps. They're worse than the prostitute. Because they know exactly what they want. They know how to get it. And they ain't changed their means of modus operandi, from the beginning of this thing. Because it works. Like somebody was telling me about negative campaigning. Well, it works. No, it don't. You got one fool, two fools maybe every election cycle who may win because of negative campaigning.
Man.
It is better to win a campaign because somebody actually likes what you say or likes what you plan to do or actually likes something you are saying than for you to spend all your time, energy, and money trying to tear down the other person. Because what happened next election cycle? That person is gone. And now you got somebody else new. You got to actually depend on yourself, or you actually got to get yourself elected.
Or your record.
So it's a whole other thing. And a lot of them don't have no record.
Oh, come on,
well, I'm telling you, look down the election ballot. Half of those people have never been elected, and half of them have never run for anything in their life. This is their first time out. How you know? Ask them. Have you ever? Well, I just woke up one night and decided I wanted to be president. Yeah. I wanted to be mayor. I wanted to be chief of police. I wanted to be something to get elected. Well, again, okay, well, what led you to that? People vote for people they think they know or people they know. That's who they vote for. They may not know you. They may see your name on a sign. But at some point in time, when they go into an election booth and they're going down those 32, 40 names that's on your ballot, they're going to say, I recognize this guy, I don't recognize that guy or girl. And they're going to say, okay, I'm going to vote for this one, vote for that one, vote for that one. I'm not going to vote for that one. I'm going to leave that one blank because I don't know none of them. And that's when they talk about judges.
Yeah.
So again, this is a process. And I want the people to know, I have both ran for elected slots, and I have helped other people run, win, lose, draw, the whole process.
You've done some good wins, Eddie.
Been through that whole
some
thing.
Good people in there. You got.
So it is funny sometimes when I'm listening to people who have never ever been in that meat grinder. It's a grinder. I'm telling you.
Blood sport.
I'm telling you, like the sausage that has to come out the other end. It's a grind. And if you've never been in that grind, it is not what you see on TV. It is not what you think it is. It's something you got to experience. You got to go through the grind of running for a political office. I don't care if it's rat catcher. I don't care what the position is. If it's an elected office, there's a process. And like I said, I've been in a federal election. I've been in local elections. I help people in between get on boards and become, high-ranking officials and people of influence and power. But there is a process of how you get there. Our problem is not many of us, black folks, understand that grind. It is a grind. And if you ever go through it, you come out, it's like sausage and hot dogs and other stuff. They go through a meat grinder. It goes in one shape, one form, one fashion, and comes out the other end having been processed.
Like chicken nuggets.
Anything that get ground up, anything that goes through a meat grinder. And you throw a whole bunch of different meats into a meat grinder, and when they come out the other end, You can't tell what it started out.
Throw in some hoof, a little bit of beak. Nobody knows.
Throw in
Just grind it up.
anything you want.
That's it.
So anyway, I guess I need to start the show.
There you go. That's a warm up.
But I had to get that off my chest, because I was telling Allie, who was still here, it's sometimes very difficult to listen to people talk about crap. I almost said so. They don't know nothing about.
Mm-hmm.
And you would think they were the best, most important, smartest
Mm-hmm.
people on the planet when it comes to certain subject matter. And they're pretty much speaking from okie dokie, I heard, Sally Sue said.
But they're well spoken, Eddie.
Yeah, but they are well spoken. So that's the art form we have. We as black folk, we can talk the best bull crap with folks who don't know no more bull crap than we do, and become very, very well spoken. Matter of fact, I'm gonna start the show because I gotta talk about Black Lives Matter.
Come on.
Because that's what the beginning of this show is.
A lot of information out there about that, Eddie.
Gonna be about.
That phone's gonna blow
Okay,
up.
so let's do this. If you want to be on the show, Porch Talk Radio, if you want to be on the show today, 813-251-9867. 813-251-9867. That's TMP, call in, talk show, Porch Talk Radio, Eddie Adams, Gabriel Phillips, and you, okay? So you'll be part of the show, you call in and decide you want to talk. If you want to call after the show, during the week, if you got something to say to me, something for me to pass on to the guys here,
Yeah.
Eddie Adams' cell phone number, 813-12. If you want to email me, Eddie, EDDIE, at PorchTalkRadio.com. If Facebook Live, don't forget about you guys. Like I say, we get better and better at this Facebook Live stuff, and thank you for watching, thank you for listening, and for making us a part of your Saturday afternoon.
There you go. God bless you.
I know that gets to be harder and harder, for you guys to do.
Everybody busy.
Okay, now let's do it. Every time you, and I mean pretty much many times, okay, because every is a lot and all is a lot and all those kind of things, But when black folks and white folks are talking about Black Lives Matter, first thing many white folks want to say, well, what about abortions? Why don't you protest this and why don't you protest that? That's reflecting. I hate to say it, but it is. It's because you don't want to talk about the conversation that evidently we want to have. So what you do is say, well, that's nasty over there. Why you ain't cleaning that up over there? Why you over here trying to clean up, this yard as opposed to 50 yards down the street, there's another nasty house. Yeah. Well, there's some times when you pick your argument, you pick your battle, you pick the house you want to clean up, you pick the family you want to help. It's not saying that there's lesser need, it's just that you only got so much time. And there's a lot of stuff we have on this planet, but we don't get to do time over. You only get the time you got. And literally, the lifespan of a human being is not long compared to some other stuff that's here. And it's easy to not do anything, and you think, in your own mind, you've done a lot of stuff. Many times you ain't done crap. And that's the whole thing. So how do we get a lot of folks who probably ain't done crap in their whole life, but decided one day they woke up and they want to get elected to something, and they want to help everybody. They got the best ideas in the world.
Okay. But.
Yeah. That's the issue. It most of it is butt. It's butt excrement.
Come on now.
Because if you've never done it, you really don't study up on it. You actually think that you could do stuff. Half of the stuff that many of these elected officials and people trying to get elected talk about, literally campaign and say, this is what I'm going to do, can't do that. Half of that crap they can't do. Well, somebody running to be on the state legislature saying, well, I'm going to do this about the school. You ain't doing crap about the school. That's why they got the school board. You know, everybody got their
Doing school
own.
board,
Everybody got their own boundaries. Everybody got their own fences. Everybody got their own stuff that they can change, and some stuff they can't. You know, if somebody running for the U.S. Congress, there's a lot of stuff that you can do, but there's a lot of stuff you can't do. It don't matter where you get elected. It's stuff you can't do, especially when it's something under the preview of the city council, county commissions, some kind of state house district, something.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I hear people all the time who hear good stuff, and oh, that sounds good, let me use that. Well, you can't use everything you hear that sounds good to you. You can't.
Doesn't apply.
It don't apply. And a lot of people who are hearing it from you are stupid and don't know it.
And Eddie, some of these people, I really believe, they know it. They know that they can't do that, but they know that it sounds good. And if they repeat it enough, people are going to start repeating it back, and they're going to fall for it. Because they said, well, this other politician did something similar, and it worked for him, and he never did squat, and he stayed in there a long time, so why can't I do it? So I really believe, Eddie, some of them purposely, they know they can't.
Well, they mislead. They mislead, yeah. A lot of times. It's a power struggle. You know, and I'm going to tell you something else about politics. Most of the people, not all, but most of the people in politics are there for the money.
And there's a lot, Eddie.
It's a lot of money. You know, I'm not talking about just their salaries. You know, they get access
Connections
to important people who control folks while they're elected. Long after they left the political arena, these folks are still getting paid. They're still getting favors paid off. They're still getting gratuities. You know, still getting niceness and kindness. You know, because of what they did. And you know, and I'm gonna bring up a name, and I'm gonna tell you this, and I say it to his face. You know, the ex-mayor Bob Buckhorn, him and his family gonna be getting money from all that stuff that happened downtown, land deals, you know, purchases, you know, deals made, you know, for the next 10 years. But I'm not holding it against them.
That's
I'm
politics.
just saying that's what they do.
That's politics.
You know, that's what they do. You know, and a lot of time, and I'm talking to the black ones now, a lot of time you so busy trying to keep your nose clean, you know, that, you know, all the white guys, you know, sitting in the seat next to you get paid long after you get done, and when you're done, you're done.
But Eddie, how do you do a balance on this? You do what's right, you do what's wrong. What is it?
Well, see, the thing about it is, now, and I heard a couple of folks this morning, if black folks decide that the one black elected seat you got on city council, a county commission, in the state house, or in the Senate, you know, a school board, black folk literally have to give those seats away.
Oh.
You literally got to give them away. So a white person can decide to run, but if they take that seat, they ain't take it. You gave it to them.
And then get it back.
And you probably won't ever get it back.
No.
No, you won't. You know, a lot of fight and fuss and went on to get those one black seats, because that's the only way black folk got elected. If they had not done that, all of these seats, and this time I do probably mean all, if not all, close to all, would have always been white. The only reason they got these black, one black this and one black that seat is because you couldn't get elected. You know, everybody says the system is fair and this. It ain't. It ain't fair worth a crap. If it were fair, you know, before the 1950s and the 60s, you'd have black folks elected because there's enough of us to elect somebody.
Yeah. A lot of power there, Eddie, if they get together.
Yeah, we always had the numbers, but that wasn't the issue. So until somebody came along and said, okay, if we don't give you a seat, you ain't going to win one on your own. So we're going to make it. And I'm saying, you know, foresight, you know, the fact that it was done made it something that was needed to be done, and black folk got together enough to make that happen. They said, we need at least one black city council seat.
We have a Les Miller, don't we?
That's county commission.
Yeah.
That's Orlando Gould. And since we've been doing that, we've never went to 2, which is expanding.
Not allowed.
Which is vision. You know, which is taking what you got and building upon it. County commission, we got 1. School board, we got 1. Go, you know, local districts for a state, legislature, local districts. Now I gotta say that at this point in time, we do have Diane Hart and fiscal Ristris.
Okay.
I just murdered her name. I'm sorry. That's my homegirl too. And she won a district that she wasn't expected to win in.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, that's a good.
Yeah.
Any win is a good win.
Any win is a good win for the community. But what we have to do is make sure that we maintain the ones we got. It took 50 years to get them, and if we lose them, it would probably take more than 50 years to get them back.
Now, Eddie, you're really discussing a strategy here with the people that requires them to go campaign,
Oh yeah.
go get funds,
Yeah.
go talk to somebody like Eddie that knows how to make it happen, to get an advisor or two,
Yeah.
to make it happen. It's a different strategy, Eddie, because you're saying come in through the system and begin to work the system to the advantage of the people, as opposed to going out and burning buildings down and taking statues away, because I know nobody's life listening to the show right now, their life has not changed one bit because of a statue being taken out.
Well, see, the issue, and I guess this brings us to Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter is not pretty much reasonably a lot of black folks. Most of the people, if not the majority of the people that I have seen, I'm not in the heart of the organization, it's a lot of young white folks in that thing.
Eddie, the media said 83% is white.
That's why, I'm just trying to make sure I'm giving it to black folks at a level that they can take it. Because if I tell them, 84, 85, 83% of the folks in Black Lives Matter white, they're going to immediately dismiss me and say, oh, that Negro lying. Well, you see, so I got to give it to them.
I'm the Hispanic that just said that. I just want to clarify.
I got to give it to them at a rate that they can take it and possibly believe it, and maybe go, do some research and come up with that number by themselves. But I'm gonna tell you what makes a difference.
Mm-hmm.
Now it was 3 black females in 2013 that started Black Lives Matter. Now these were working ladies, unworking ladies. I don't mean like you know what I mean. Anyway, needing lives and running a movement. That movement is now worth over $30 million. Now think of it: Black Lives Matter, civil rights movement.
In the beginning.
Civil rights movement, period. Civil rights movement never generated $30 million in a couple of years.
Eddie, they're up to $1 billion right now, and they still haven't got any money to the black neighborhoods.
Well, they got a different agenda.
Oh. Wait a minute. No. But the name says Black Lives Matter. Don't all Black Lives matter?
Well, that's where we started. If you remember,
oh boy, here we go.
The abortion, that whole thing.
Those don't matter. We've accepted that 90% of those are just black on. We don't. That doesn't matter. We're moving on.
And then you got Chicago, and you got some other places.
277% hike in Chicago black on black shootings since this BLM movement, Eddie, and it's been really horrible.
But that
doesn't matter.
But that's not part of the agenda.
Yeah, I guess. Okay, those lives don't really matter. Those black lives.
It's not about lives, period.
Oh, wait a minute. What do you mean?
If I had anything to say or do from what I have found out, now I'm not poo-pooing. I'm not shedding. I'm not shadowing or throwing darkness or shedding bad negative light on anything. But these folks, when they got established, they put some good, powerful, knowledgeable white folks in places in the organization that pretty much made it not be a black organization, even though it got black in the name.
But they know how to make money.
But what they had done is they got political clout. They got Amazon, they got FedEx, they got Microsoft. They got people who, I don't care who you are, where you are, who's supporting this organization that people would love to get to support them, and financially,
They've got Michael Jordan, who just signed on about 3 weeks ago with $110 million that he had Nike promised that they would give to BLM. And folks, guess how much of that's going to your local black neighborhood? Thank you, 0.
Yeah. Well, it's
But
not
a different agenda.
But it's not about saving and helping
the black people.
black community.
Oh.
See that?
Okay.
See that's why people, got this whole thing confused and misplaced. They look at the name and they're putting or reflecting putting their own ideas and thoughts of what the organization should do and what it should mean.
And it's far from that.
Yeah, well, the fact that, they're now painting streets and parks and buildings and stuff and doing murals, Black Lives Matter, and that's the focus. That's the visual focus of what people see and think the organization. Now, I'm telling you what, there's unlimited potential for what they could do for American intercities.
Oh my God, it'd be huge, powerful.
But that's not what they do.
That's not their agenda.
That's
keep saying.
not their agenda.
Right.
It's a movement. All three of these ladies, and like I said, I'm not shedding shade.
Are they still running it? I don't know. I haven't
all of them
researched
are involved because it's a bunch of money. They're all worth millions of dollars. At least that's what the article.
So they took care of themselves.
I read this morning saying that the 3 founders are all worth millions of dollars themselves.
So they're good.
They're good.
Oh man.
And now the organization, I'm not shedding shade again, is moving up in leaps and bounds, and foundation after foundation and group after group, an American, Fortune 500 companies, and I'm gonna tell you what they did. They did
A mafia approach.
what they did what some of the old poverty pimps from the 60s did, is they found a way to embarrass some of the richest people in America and touch the nerve, and now they think the best thing to do is to not help the poor black folks.
No.
But help Black Lives Matter.
Because that's insurance.
Because that's a good dollar invested in America. Not so much in black folks in the black community, but invested in folks that somehow it's the treat of the week.
So Eddie, if you're a white liberal and you want to feel good about yourself because slavery happened 100 years ago, but Michael Jordan won't talk about that because of his shoes that he's wearing now by Nike that's made by slaves in China, but that's another story.
Yeah.
So, but if that's the case, then now we have this mafia approach, BLM, I say, Black Lives Matter, that is now going in and saying, if you don't give us money, we'll burn your business down. And we have found more black lives taken out, murdered, taken out, since the BLM movement than was before because of the whites taking out the blacks in the situation of the numbers that we had. We now have double, triple that with the BLM movement by itself. And again, you just pointed out that the funding, the agenda is not helping the local black schools. It's not helping black kids with school supplies. It's helping a different agenda. And when you go to give money, if any of you ever have done that already, to their website, it directs you over to the blue. And the blue funds a lot of white liberal programs.
Well, it's a democratic process
too.
Democratic Party.
Oh, baby. We're in trouble.
Once something has been pirated, pirated.
Not hijacked.
Yeah, pirated. Because it used to be a time Black Lives Matter meant something to the black community. But now, we are our own enemies. We are worse enemies. Again, because we got black in front of something that pretty much don't give a crap about black folks.
And right now, we have towns burning down tonight, every night for the last 52 nights or something like that. Towns have been burning down. And BLM and Antifa have teamed up together, which are two Marxist organizations. They've teamed up together, and the media will not show you right now. They will not show you those towns burning down anymore. But when they first started, they were right there with them and a part of it. Now they're not showing it anymore. And even Fox News took something off the air the other day because the president was showing the live footage in Seattle like 2-3 nights ago.
Yeah.
And they were showing people burning stuff down, throwing Molotov cocktails at the police.
Well, see again.
And Fox got scared.
And like I said, one of the things that we do here on Porch Talk Radio is we're bringing information.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Look it up, please.
And the target is, may have been misconstrued.
Oh, you're being so nice.
Because that's why people say, well, what about abortion? What about this? What about that? What about black on black crime? What about Chicago?
Oh, that's acceptable. Nobody cares. Those lives don't matter.
What about Watts? What about Compton? What
Oh,
about
my
Detroit?
goodness.
Again, it's not about black lives, lives. That's not what it's about. They have an agenda,
Mhm.
and like
Different.
I say, the few times when I have seen them locally, and many times when I have seen them on TV,
Mm-hmm.
unlike the civil rights movement, and poverty pimps, like Al Sharpton and the guys who have pretty much made a living, embarrassing
Eddie.
corporations into helping them, and
Shaming them.
and the Rainbow Coalition, and all those folks, back in the day, this thing was done differently. You don't have many black males at the top of this organization. So it's easy for a lot of groups and things to fund and to help and to do what they would do. Now, again, if you had Al Sharpton, even Dr. Martin Luther King, all those folks from history, those organizations that were civil rights organizations, you could always point, and this is nothing against who's doing it now, but you could point to the top of the creative management places within these organizations, and there were real black folks there doing stuff, and somewhere along the way, it may have not been as much as you or me may have wanted to. Stuff got back to the community. The black community as a whole changed, shifted.
Got paid off?
No, they didn't get paid off, but the communities were better. A lot of stuff happened in the black community during the civil rights movement that will never go back to being the way it was. It was a movement, and the whole country moved. This is a movement, but
The destruction.
Again,
Eddie,
there's no comparison.
And again, Eddie, as you said, some black lives mattered. Ace and Arcel Lucas out of Canton, Ohio, 1-year-old twins, they were just sleeping in their house one day, and somebody went by with a gun and shot at the house. And the police are still looking for who it could have been, even though it was during the BLM movement going through that neighborhood. One of the 1-year-olds didn't make it, and the other seems to be doing all right. And again, the media is just kind of quiet. Oh, that's just black on black. Those black lives don't matter. We're only concerned about that 0.3%, which is the FBI numbers they came up with, of where a white cop shot a black person. We're worried about that number, but yet the 90% black on black that happens in Chicago, Baltimore, weekend after weekend, those black lives don't matter.
But
and that's frustrating.
But again, Gabriel, I'm not gonna fall into that crap. I'm not gonna fall into that trap because white folks kill white folks more than anybody else on the planet.
No. BLM says something else.
No, but what I'm saying is white folks kill white folks. Asians kill Asians. Black folks kill black folks. Mexican Hispanics kill more because those are the people who you are around the most. See, it ain't got nothing to do with some of these other things that you want to do it, and that's a slogan too: black on black crime. Well, crap. What do that mean? I mean, black folks kill black folks, but same thing happened to every other racial, ethnic group there is, because those are most of the people you're around. But it means something different, and it's the derogatory and it's negative. When traditionally white folks will say, well, what about, black on black crime? Like there's a solution to black on black crime. Like there's a black on black crime got to be solved. White on white crime don't have to be solved. Most of the white folks in prison are in prison for hurting other white folks. I'm just saying.
Eddie, come on. You're not you're not being politically correct today, Eddie.
I'm not. I don't intend to be. I'm just making a statement. So let me go ahead and get on this day in, because I got a couple people who who missed it and needed to go ahead and make sure
You sure about that?
Okay, well, we got a caller. so caller, welcome to Porch Talk Radio on this Saturday afternoon. Who are you? Where you calling from? And what say you? Hello?
Yes. Good afternoon.
Hello, Adam.
This is Adam from Tampa. Just wanted to thank you, Mr. Eddie, for correcting Gabriel, because the thing is that, that narrative that Gabriel was espousing, that's incorrect. And the thing is that I was going to say white on white crime is what happened in Polk County when those three people were killed.
Now those other three white folks.
You never hear people talking about white on white crime when it happened, when you had the massacre of three people in Polk County by those people that one had 230 arrests or whatever, but you don't ever hear that narrative, or they talk about we need to do something about that. So I'm glad that you corrected him in terms of the way you look at stats as it applies to African Americans, because as you said correctly that whites on percentage kill 86, 87% of each other, because the thing is that you kill based upon who is close in the proximity to you. So when we have this discussion, let's have a real discussion and not frame it to push some sort of agenda in terms if African Americans are inherently more criminal or prone to more criminal activity, when we can't even have the discussion about the 86% of white folks that kill one another. So nobody says white on white crime. So I'm glad that you pointed that out, and it's not being politically correct. It's about looking at the statistics correctly and put it in proper context. So I know I call in and give you a lot of grief sometimes, Mr. Eddie, but thank you for doing that, and that's all I got to say.
All right, thank you.
But why does the media do that, Eddie?
Well, like I said, everybody got an agenda, and the issue with agendas is, can I serve my agenda and your agenda and somebody else's agenda?
Get your history there.
And everybody, come out on the backside. When you got an agenda that's competing with other folks' agenda, you always want your agenda to win. So it's a competition. So anyway, let's do this. Some folks for Porch Talk Radio's finest, 5-10 minutes is and for Facebook Live.
That's what he said, so we'll go with it.
Is on this day. So on this day, July 25th, 1868, the U.S. Congress passed an act creating the territory of Wyoming. So
there's still three people there.
So Wyoming came into effect. On this day, July 25th, 1871, Seth Wheeler patented perforated wrapping paper. I know some of this stuff. You gotta take the little stuff with the big stuff sometimes. On this day, July 25th, 1941, the U.S. government froze all Japanese and Chinese assets.
That camp set up for them too.
So we again, history keeps repeating itself. That's why I try to, bring stuff to folks, So every now and then you can reflect back to what they're doing that now. Yeah, they're doing that now. Yeah,
vaccine camp soon.
Yeah. All right. On this day in 1943, Italian fascist dictator Benito Mussolini was overthrown in a coup.
People got tired of that, huh?
They had a coup. They got rid of him. And if you know what 1943 was, that's they was
Germany.
They was in the war.
Yeah.
World War II. Anyway, on this day, July 25th, in 1952, Puerto Rico became a self-governing commonwealth of the United States.
And we've been paying for it ever since.
Yeah. Well, they're trying to make them a state, so at some point in time they may come 51st state. So, all right, Gabriel, let's go ahead and get your rant on.
Guys, just real quick with all the fireworks we've been shooting off back and forth here. Just a hats off to Giants Sam Conrad. who refused to kneel during the Black Lives Matter moment because of his faith. He says, I am a Christian and I bow to no man. Folks, can you imagine that? Morals and standards on display in a sport that's soon to be going by the way of the dodo bird if they keep staying political, because you don't want to watch sports to get political. You want to watch sports to escape, yell and scream at your TV, have a beer and some wings, and make the best of it. But when they start getting political in your face and shoving it down your throat, that's when you turn the TV off and go find something else to do. But just a hats off real quick to that one.
Work up a sweat.
Yeah, exactly. Of course, there's a lot of stuff happening. The Washington Post newspaper, that's owned by Jeff Bezos, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think it is, yeah. They just lost $250 million to lying on a story, fake news they did on an 18-year-old that they said was getting in an Indian's face who was a vet.
Oh, yeah.
And they lied about all of it. It was just the opposite. And as a result, they're $250 million poor, which Jeff Bezos is worth quite a bit. So it's not they'll just keep lying.
That's spending change.
Yeah, that's no big deal. So guys, as you kind of look down to what's happened, a lot has gone on this week. That right now in Japan, they're beginning to do a tracking program that if you want to go to a restaurant, you have this tracking app, and it gives you a code that checks your temperature somehow. And it gives them a code that you can, if you have that they call it a green code. You go to the restaurant, you show them that green code. If it's current, they'll let you in the restaurant. Well, guess what? If any of you have noticed on your phones lately, there's a COVID tracking app that has been downloaded on everybody's phone in America. Mm-hmm. Now, folks, if they can track you like that, then that means they know not only your medical history settling, but they can also remove services from you. Oh, gee, your prescriptions got canceled. Oh, boy. So be aware of something that sounds too good to be true. There's always going to be a catch-22. COVID cures, HCQ, which you already heard about that, Z-Pack and zinc. And I had a friend of mine here in Tampa that had the COVID, and the Z-Pack and the zinc took care of him within just a few days. And the Florida numbers. Florida numbers continue going wrong. They had 31% of kids under 18 tested that had COVID. They came back and said that was a lie. It was actually 13. Oops. And that was from the Department of Health of Florida. And then when they said 98% of the people testing for COVID a couple of months back, no, they're actually 90% off. It was only 8%. So, folks, they're blowing this up. You need to use your wisdom, use your common sense. If you choose to wear a mask, that's your call. If I don't want to wear a mask, that's my call. And I think that should be simple enough. Eddie?
All right. So let me tell you guys something about the mask thing. And I was trying to explain this to some folks I was at dinner with last week.
You got some teaching on this, actually.
Yeah. Actually, I understand, microbes, viruses, bacteria.
And I can barely spell that.
Bacteria, fungi, all that kind of stuff. Because that's something I actually studied, when I was in school. But when something is measured in nanometers.
That's small, lady.
Yeah, that's thousandths of an inch.
How much did you say?
A nano is 1,000 thousandth of an inch.
So that's smaller than a zit on a gnat's butt.
You can see a zit on a gnat, but you can't see a nano anything. Anything that's a nano, you can't see. Anyway, the mask you think you're wearing that's supposed to be, virus proof. It's like a visual would be having a chain link fence, and on one side of chain link fence are mosquitoes, and somehow you are in a chain link fence cage, and mosquitoes are still biting you, and you're trying to figure out why. Because the mesh for a chain link fence is like the mask you call yourself wearing to keep you protected from the virus, but they're not. They can fly right through.
So Eddie, between the difference between a bandana, a mask,
and the N95
and the N95, from what you just said, the result is the same.
The mesh is is not fine enough to keep out a bacteria. They're not fine enough to keep out a virus. And for folks who don't understand the difference between the two, most bacterias are about 10, 20 times larger than a virus. If it's a virus, it is 10, 20 times smaller
Oh, the opposite.
than a bacteria.
Oh.
Yeah. Viruses
Okay.
are the smallest things out there.
But you said at this point, unless we're wearing a hazmat outfit, that the mask is just for looks.
Well, pretty much, and again, and I'm telling you what the masks do, what they do. The mask will make it so that the carbon dioxide that you're breathing out, that makes your body, runs and all that kind of stuff, it will make it so that you're breathing more and more carbon dioxide. And some people cannot stand to re-inhale. That's why they got masks that they call rebreathers. To re-inhale the carbon dioxide that they just put out. That's a gas. That will kill you. For some people, it will literally knock you out, and you can kind of be driving down the road, and next thing you know, you're on the side of the road and don't know how you got there because you passed out, rebreathing your own carbon dioxide.
So driving around with your mask on, your windows up,
Yeah,
it's probably not
don't make a lot of sense.
Yeah,
Okay.
okay.
If your goal is to do social distancing, being in the car with your windows up by yourself,
wearing a mask.
you already social distancing. I'm just sorry. I'm just saying. So,
Let's bring the drive-in movies back, folks.
yeah. So anyway, okay. The other thing I want to talk about is, for some reason or another, the Democratic Party took on this mantra of vote by mail. Now, I don't know if many of you guys know, but the U.S. Postal Service is in the process of going bankrupt. Again. So, if you want there to be a third party involved in the voting process, now you guys understand, every time you add a layer of anything to any process, it gets more contaminated, more incorrect, more opportunities for stuff to happen. I remember watching the returns from the last couple of elections, and they found officials from the different counties' board of elections with ballots in the back of their trunk, in their car, and in their lockers at work, and this and this and this. Now, if you're going to add another layer, the Postmaster General have already determined that some of these postal carriers are overworked. So they pretty much say, well, if you can't get it out, leave it at the main station, leave it at the main wherever. So you got ballots that can potentially, be stuck at the post office. And I'm gonna tell you the way elections work, at least the way they supposed to work. It don't give a baker's fart if your ballots were done 2 or 3 weeks before the election. If they don't get to the supervisor of election headquarters before 7 o'clock on the end of the election day of that election cycle, they can't count them.
Eddie, and they've already had several postal workers. Several postal workers have actually been thrown in jail already for ballot tampering. Already, this has happened this year. Several postal workers. In fact, they even had an election board, and I want to say somewhere up north, that the half of the members were all part of the ballot rigging that was involved. And if you guys have such faith in voting by mail, remember what happened in Miami?
Oh yeah.
They had truckloads of ballots they just magically found, and you know what was really weird? They were all only Democrat ballots.
Oh yeah, they do.
That was so weird.
But they always do that. But see, this is the issue. This is the point. Every year now, they have a week or 2 weeks of early voting. If you want to make sure your vote counts, I'm telling you to vote. You got to register first. But the registration period is already passed, so you can't register to vote for the August 18th election. But if you register now, you'll be able to vote in November. But anyway, if you get the opportunity to go There's no lines now.
Correct.
You can pretty much go early in the morning or midday when everybody else is at work.
Libraries, right?
You know, well, they got 15, 18 voting places around the county, that are non-traditional voting places.
And they can find that there on the website.
So yeah, go to Supervisor of Election website, find that place, go and vote. And vote for everybody you want to vote for, everybody you need to vote for. Now, I got to say, Florida has a party primary, which means if you're a Democrat, you can only be able to vote for Democratic candidates. If you're a Republican, you're going to only be able to vote for Republican candidates.
Primaries, yeah.
In the primary. If you're independent, you'll be able to vote for people who are running in elections that don't have a preferential treatment primary, like judges. Sometimes, I think even some of the school board slots.
How about the councilman?
No, all the city councilman, the county commissioner, those are Democrat Republicans.
Okay.
So you're going to, for November, you can vote for anybody. But for the primary, you can only vote for ones in your party. And that's what people, that's what you need to understand. So if you're a registered Democrat, everybody on your ballot is going to be either in an independent election or in a Democratic Party election. So those are all the candidates. So I'm a Republican. So everybody on my ballot is going to be a Republican, be in a race where they don't have party affiliation.
So again, this is just information for everyone to know.
Yeah.
And Eddie, at the beginning of the show, starts talking about a strategy about, some of these seats are available, you got to go out.
Right.
So we're trying to help the people in general here, saying, hey, go and vote.
Right.
Go vote. Burning down a building or stealing a statue or knocking it down doesn't do anything. Voting, it keeps you ignorant. You need to just get off your couch, go vote. If you're afraid of COVID, pray. If you're sick, stay home, and they'll mail it to you. But otherwise, go vote.
Well, I think if you want to do a mail-in ballot, I don't want somebody, lying on Eddie Adams and say, oh no, vote by mail. I'm telling you this. If you want a mail-in ballot, you can get one. I don't think they should make it so that all of the ballots and all of the voting is done by mail like they're trying in some states.
No, I agree with you.
Because that opened up the election for fraud.
Big time.
They got people with computers. They got hackers who have hacked both Democrats and Republican campaigns.
Oh yeah.
They got people who can turn the face of an election. Just because they got the skill set and access to computers and software. And so it won't be the American people. It'll be 2 or 3 people sitting off on the side electing our officials. And that you don't want. You don't want it not to be of the people, by the people, and for the people.
And there's power,
Of
whether
course.
you're black or minority,
Yeah.
Hispanic, whatever.
Yeah.
If you just go vote and
Yeah.
go talk to your neighbors, hey, y'all gonna go vote? I'll
Yeah.
give you a ride there. Let's go together. Let's go together and let's just go vote.
And if black folks ever get their act together,
Hispanics are right there with you, buddy.
we don't have to worry about losing our one, I can't even say 1 or 2, our 1 seat,
Assigned.
at each level, of this government. For you to give up, they got a white guy running for the Black County Commission seat. They got a white person running for the Black School Board seat. That's going to happen. See, because you may be restricted in the stuff you do, but, if you got 2 crumbs on your plate, they will come and take both crumbs and not give a crap that you didn't get one. I'm just saying. That's the basic nature. That's the difference between people. You are kind, caring, considerate, and the other person, you can be kind, considerate, and hungry. The other person gonna eat both of the crumbs.
So folks, we're trying to tell you many different ways. Get off the couch, go vote, but also think about it. If you got a neighbor who needs a ride, go give him a ride. Say, hey, I'm gonna go vote this day. You wanna go with me? There's no crowds, there's no big Actually, there isn't really much of a crowd going on right now with the early voting.
Well, not now. Well, and like I say, it's opportunity. You just got to take the responsibility and say, I'm going to vote, and then go do it.
Absolutely. And again, that's where you begin to make changes that begin to affect your life, your neighborhood, maybe right there, getting the right people in power.
And I got to say something else. My good friend Orlando Gould, city council person, is recovering. And my one of my other good friends, that's an elected official, is recovering from COVID. So our few elected officials that they are, have fallen prey to the COVID-19. They've survived, so they ain't killed.
That's good.
So they ain't killed nobody.
That's good.
That we know of. Yet. So anyway, we're at that point where until next week. Same bat time, same bat station. We love you. Thank you for listening, and we look forward
God bless America.
To hearing you, seeing you, being involved with the community next week.
Bring it on.
Bye-bye.
God bless.